speaking of preventable injuries, thank you for helping me up there. So welcome, everyone. So nice to see so many friendly faces, familiar faces, partners and friends. I wanted to just talk very briefly about what is the standard. So I think by now you're probably asking yourself exactly what is this document and why am I here? And so hopefully I can answer those questions quickly. I want to also first acknowledge my board chairman, and one of the best parts of my job is working with Tom and the rest of my board. Don Ryan is also here. Don, can you stand up so people can see you? And Mark James. And any other board members that I'm missing here? Okay, well, they're just such a delight to work with and so supportive, and they're amazing ambassadors for our mission to create safe and healthy homes. So the standard, just to be clear, is it's a property maintenance policy. It's not a building code. Building codes regulate how you construct new homes or substantially renovate homes. This is a property maintenance policy. It's targeted at the 100 million existing homes that we have out there. We used state-of-the-art evidence and our experts to help us make sure that it reflects everything that we now know about the way that housing affects health. We received over 300 comments on the draft that we put out last June and incorporated changes to reflect those. And when I say we, I mean Jane Malone, our policy director over there. If I could have a round of applause for Jane's Herculean lift on this. Jill Bracey and Dave Jacobs were also key helpers and really provided terrific technical support on that. So there are 7 chapters of this document, and they generally reflect the 7 principles of healthful housing. And you should know the mantra by now, but if you don't, we want to keep homes dry, clean, pest-free, contaminant-free, ventilated, safe, and maintained. Those are the things that we know if we do, we can make a demonstrable difference in the health of and well-being of our population. We've taken great pains not to conflict with existing codes, existing model codes. Some of you may be aware of the International Property Maintenance Code. It's been adopted by 800 jurisdictions around the country. And in fact, we see that as one opportunity for this code to be adopted during the process. When people adopt the IPMC, they can also adopt this as a stretch or a supplemental code. And I know our friends from the ICC are here today, and I thank you guys so much for your support and partnership. We also were very careful to balance affordability and practicality with public health, because we know that that is a very difficult balance. Right now, people make very difficult choices between having a roof over their head at all and having some quality of home. And we look forward to the many ways that these recommendations will be adopted. I guess the old adage is true, there's no such thing as a free lunch. We do like you, and we wanted to have you here because you're our friends, but we also have a request for you. We want you to go back, we want you to look at this document, and we want you to think about the ways that you can use it within your spheres of influence. The city of Omaha, Nebraska, the state of Massachusetts, Seattle, King County are already looking at this document and ways to incorporate it in changes that they're making to their codes, their housing codes. And I also want to call out especially our friends at the American Society of Home Inspectors, Enterprise, NeighborWorks, Rebuilding Together. These are part of our early adopter community. They have already committed to taking a look at this document and incorporating it into the way that they finance and rehab and repair homes around the country. So thank you for your partnership. So I think collectively we really have tremendous reach. We have the same vulnerable families and individuals that we serve, and this standard really has I think there's a lot to be gained by our clients if the standard is adopted and enforced, and we need your help with that. Without further ado, it is my privilege, and with some anxiety, I have to say this week I've been preparing to introduce my friend and colleague, Henry Cisneros. Henry served on our National Advisory Committee for this standard. He's been a tremendous help. He's so thoughtful and so smart on these things. I think most importantly, though, what strikes me about Henry Cisneros is his experience with these issues really face-to-face. This is a gentleman who's not afraid to get his hands dirty. I read that when you were a city councilman, you helped with the sanitation crews take out the garbage to understand the problems of sanitation in San Antonio. I understand that you stayed overnight in Chicago in the public housing developments there when you were conceptualizing the Hope 6 program. And I know you've slept in homeless shelters in Minneapolis. And I think probably growing up in San Antonio, you saw firsthand how living conditions could really make or break families. And so your authentic, really, connection to the human condition, I think, really distinguishes you. You do have the longest Wikipedia entry I've ever seen, by the way. I had to scroll 5 times on my screen just through the awards. Inducted into the Home Builder Hall of Fame, Housing Person of the Year, all of these recognitions and acknowledgments so deserved. Your pursuit of the nation's toughest problems really distinguish you professionally, but like I said, I think it's your human connection to the people that live in these conditions that really sets you apart. I want to thank you for your help. I also want to personally thank you for the inspiration you've given our organization to expand our mission from children to older adults. Your book sits on my desk at work. It's a Bible, Independent for Life. It tells us about what you can practically do in homes to keep people in their homes longer, which is where our older adults want to stay. And we can do it. We know the things that need to be done. We need to scale them up. So with that, I'd like to introduce Henry Cisneros. Thank you.